Hey, hey you. Yeah, yes you, yeah. Do you want to know the secret to get a six-pack without working out? Sure you do, you look lazy, sitting in front of your computer with all those snacks and watching YouTube videos. I also sit alone at home all day, but still I managed to get these guns. Can you guess how I did it? Hello, I'm a drawing, idiot. And you can achieve that too. With my 3-step workout routine, you will get fit in no time.
Step 1. Create a plan. To get you warmed up and in the right mindset, let's start with a sketch. The key is to use simple shapes. We start with the T shape, basically a simple vertical line and a horizontal one on top, that are meant to represent the spine and collarbones. To get an understanding of the shape and the volume that our body is supposed to have, we add a circle, starting at the clavicle. The larger you make the circle, the larger the upper body will get later in the process, so you want to set your goals in the beginning. Then add 2 curved lines, starting around the middle of the circle, going down to the sides. It looks like a peace sign now, and will give us an idea of the ribcage. To sketch the chest, use the crossing of these lines as a point of reference. Draw a somewhat crooked C shape on one side and mirror that for the other side as well. Then add 2 dots for the nipples. Now we can continue with the lower part of the body. Mark the belly button by thinking of an equilateral triangle reaching from the nipples. We can just add it down here. Just below the belly button we draw another oval shape. The size of this one is quite important. With more muscles, the back gets broader, so you have to keep the proportions in mind. Having it just a bit smaller makes the rest look bigger, and that's what we are going for today. To add volume, we add another curved line, to make that oval look more like a cylinder, from which we can deduce the V lines. It's time for the waist. Find the intersection of the chest and the circle. From there, draw a curved line on both sides downwards. From the V-lines we can then draw slightly convex lines up for the external obliques and connect them to form the shape of our body. The arms are quickly implied by those thunderbolt lines. And for the abs we can use the chest as a reference. Once again, find the intersection of the chest and the circle. From there draw a line that's just a little steeper than the chest. When you reach the ribcage, go down towards the V-line. Repeat this for the other side as well. Now we add 2 horizontal lines dividing the section that goes from the chest down to the belly button. And voila, we have sketched ourselves a 6-pack in just a few minutes.
Wasn't that hard, was it? Good, because the next step requires some stamina.
Step 2. Make it tangible. We have done our rough sketch now, so let's start with the line art. Set the sketch to a low opacity and create a new layer on top. I stick to the same brush, but of course you can change to whatever brush you like. Then we start tracing the collarbone, working from top to bottom. In this step it's not necessary that you trace the lines 100% accurately. A bit of variation makes everything appear more natural and interesting. The collarbone gets a little bump here and there, for example. This step might appear a bit repetitive at first, as we will trace parts of what is already there, but it's needed to have a clean line art. The goal of the sketch was to help us to get to the point of defining what the body should look like, but the line art will actually end up visible on the final piece. To draw the 6-pack I'm using some zigzag lines. Also I make use of gaps to loosen up all those geometrical shapes, because muscles don't really show up as continuous lines. Add details here and there to achieve more volume.
Hey, you're doing a great job and all, but aren't you forgetting something real important here?
Oh, sorry. Let me put that here.
Thanks man, looking good so far. Now all I'll need is some color and volume.
Step 3. Get fit. First we need to do some preparations, just to be safe. Decide on a light source. Let's stick to a light from above. Next we want to have a color palette of 3 colors for more consistency. One for highlights, one for shadows and one for somewhere in between. Now we create a new layer and put it below our line art. The Magic Wand tool is great to create a selection of our body, so we can fill it with the highlight color. Then turn on the clipping mask, which will keep you within the lines. Learn more about powerful functions like this in my 10 digital art tips video. With a big airbrush we color the center with the middle tone, and then we use the darkest tone to color the bottom of the torso. This way we achieve a soft transition with the light on top that helps us to keep the light source in mind. Now we grab a round brush. I'm using one I downloaded from the Clip Studio Asset section. The link for it can be found in the video description. Next we are going to spread the colors around. As the light source is shining from above, we use the color pick tool and select a tone from the lighter area and color the upper part of the abs. The Lineart will help us to put the highlights in the right places. And because of the previous work we did with the airbrush, the farther we are working our way down with the body, the darker it gets. We want to mirror that gradient in the highlights as well. So we don't need to use the lightest color for every highlight, but we use the color pick tool to take slightly darker tones the more we work our way down. The same way we can also pick tones adjusting the shadows from dark to light, working on the body from bottom to top. The pecs stay the lightest and get a smooth shading throughout the process. This is in contrast to how we did the abs. But a few hard shadows in the beginning on the lower parts and the sides are enough to already get an idea of the light situation. Then use a little highlight underneath the belly button and some darker tones to add shadows to the sides of the abs. The round brush is great to create soft transitions, but it's much harder to paint pointy corners. So here and there I'll switch between the round brush and the G-pen. The G-pen helps to paint flat tones that contrast with soft gradients. And its pointy and thin tip is great to draw details like little lines or highlights. For example, the obliques get a little highlight and shadow each. We are using the G-pen for the rough shape and the round brush to refine it. In case you ever find yourself lost and don't know where to put lights and shadows, I recommend looking up references. For example, I keep these little lighter tones here on these larger external obliques because I saw it on a photo reference. Bonus step. If we ever end up dissatisfied with our initial color choice, the correction layer called Gradient Map is an amazing tool. First create a gradient from dark to light using your preferred colors. This can be from another of our drawings, for example. Now add the correction layer by clicking on Layer, New Correction Layer, Gradient Map. And use that gradient and clip it on the skin layer. It already changes the original tones to the ones from our gradient, but it hasn't picked up all the colors yet. We'll change that using another correction layer called Level Correction. Adding it underneath the gradient map layer, we can play around with the values until it's to our liking. At last, we only need to refine some more with the round brush and the G-pen. In the end, we can use Liquify in Photoshop to push our drawing around and polish the anatomy.
Look at you, apps for days and all without a single sit-up, and just through the power of art. Well, your shading could use some improvement, it looks a bit flat. Luckily, the sponsor of today's video can help you with that.
Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes on drawing, painting, design and lots more. It's a wonderful learning platform to dive into new hobbies or deepen existing skills, all without getting interrupted by ads. And they are always launching new premium classes. I really like the Color Masterclass by Victor Nye because it teaches the use of color without going too deep into color theory. It's a very intuitive class that I can recommend if you are struggling with getting the colors of your art right. At less than $10 a month for an annual subscription, Skillshare is also very affordable. But I've also got a special offer for you. By following the link in the video description, you can get a free trial of the premium membership so you can explore your creativity. This offer is only available for the first 1,000 people who sign up using the link, so be quick. You can also find the link to Victor Nye's color masterclass in the description. For more drawings, follow me on Instagram or Twitter. Thanks so much for watching and see you next time.